Hello and welcome to Athena's Creations 2017, live on Facebook or later on the replay on YouTube. Tonight I've got some more cards that I'm going to share with you using the Faith Collection. Like I said last week, I'm not done playing with this beautiful bundle. It's part of the online exclusives that is available, and Celebration and the new mini catalog and some new stuff is now currently available on the Stampin' Up website. And so there's a huge join special. There's a lot of freebie items that you can get. There's just a lot, and I have more fun folds and samples and techniques. Okay, tonight I've got a few techniques for you. Some really fun and easy techniques. I kind of forgot they existed, to be honest with you, just because I haven't tried them out in a long time, and I'm going to share all of those with you tonight. I've got 4 cards for you, again, using the Faith Collection and using some free paper that's in here that's going to coordinate very nicely, and this technique right here. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm so glad that you've joined me tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. One moment as I point the camera down to the stamping area. I've got lots of fun techniques and things that like I said, I forgot about until I flipped through the catalog. And I think I've mentioned before that our catalogs have a great resource for us. They have lots of ideas, lots of card samples, and I definitely want to make sure that I am sharing all of that with you. Bear with me just one moment. I want to make sure I get as close to the projects tonight as I can. Hey, Sherry, I'm so glad you could join us tonight. And then those of you that could join us live or on the replay. I've used this stand for several years. You would think I would have this figured out by now, but there's just a lot of little adjustments. Okay, I will look over for the comments, and hopefully I won't miss any tonight. There we go. Does that help? That may have made it worse. I don't know. Well, one of these days I'm going to figure it out. All right. I hope y'all are all staying warm. It's the U.S. seems to be covered in a huge cold. The Arctic front, I guess, it's come through. And so it's really, really cold. But that just means extra stamping time for me in the evenings. And then, of course, on the weekends, I do as much stamping as I possibly can. Let's see. All right, here we go. I've missed 2 comments. Let's see. I'm just double checking real quickly here. Sometimes my computer freezes. You know how that goes. Technology's wonderful. Hey, Beverly, I'm glad you could join us tonight. Okay, hopefully I can stay caught up on comments, but you guys know I'll go back if I missed any. So we're gonna do a technique tonight using the Faith Collection. Everything in here, all the stamps except for one, is on a block. That's how much I've been playing and using this bundle. It's actually an online exclusive. I absolutely love it. There's some brand new beautiful paper in here that's available. Normally what I would do after a catalog launch like this is go through the catalogs, but I just want to dive right into the meat of what I want to share with you, and that is beautiful items from the Celebration, a technique that is shown on page 17. I've seen it called block watercoloring, and it's just using a spritzer, and if you don't have a spritzer, just any bottle with just a little bit of water to spray a plain acrylic block and some beautiful markers. Now, we have a workshop, our first workshop for January on the 18th. So message me if you want to come so that I can make sure I have all the products and everything ready to go and prepared. This one right here, one of the reasons why I wanted to share this with you is because of the join special. Now, I know that a lot of you just do this for fun, which is what I do. I just do it for fun. But they do have an option that you can get what I call more bang for your buck. And I've shared some graphics in our group here. But you can get option 1, you can get 125 of any product of anything that's available online and the catalogs, scrapbooking, online exclusives, kits collection, stamps, inks, paper, whatever you want, $125. Only pay $99. Shipping is always free. And with option 1, you will also get a brand new handmade design stamp set and 2 different color groups, meaning you could get the soft subtles and the rich regals. I may be saying the wrong, they've changed the name since. Or if you weren't interested in those items, you could pick option 2, which is basically $30 more in product, and you still pay only $99 plus tax, free shipping. Every kit comes with a free paper pumpkin. You get supplies and catalogs you can share with neighbors and friends. This right here is a $91 value. To me, that's more bang for your buck. And I'm going to show you the technique as to why you're going to want those Stampin' Right markers. If you've already got markers and maybe you're not interested in that one, then option 2 might be your best bet. You'll get 155 of product of your choice, and it'll still be $99 plus tax. Let me show you the card that I made. This is using our note cards, which is just, again, stamps, ink, and paper. This is the block watering coloring technique. And there's different looks to this one, okay? And I'm going to share that with you. This one's using some really soft colors in the block. There may be some other terms that's been used. There's a lot of techniques out there, let's just say that. So the first thing I did, and I wanted to show you the differences. Before I got my piercing mat out, which is $5 in our catalog and online, it's very thick. It's great for photopolymer stamping, which this stamp set is photopolymer. But before I got this one out, I just used my glass. And that's the look when you just use the glass. It's a different look, which I love all of the different looks. My Heart Belongs to You. That's part of the Hearts of Elegance. That's a new online exclusive bundle as well. And you can see I've just tried different ways of, just putting this on here. And I'm not sure why there's like an indentation, but there's some kind of something on my block apparently. I've cleaned it, I've washed it. But again, this is what it looks like when you just use your glass. And then I brought in my glass mat. And this is what it looks like with the, I'm sorry, I was using the glass mat first, and then I brought the pierce mat. Stampin' Pierce mat. And then this is the final product, what it looks like. You can see it's kind of blended in a little bit, kind of blurry. So you definitely, when you do this technique, you definitely want to make sure the card is completely dry before you stamp on it. And I did not here. This is the final card, and you can see the clarity in it. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you exactly how to do this. It's really, really easy, and it's a fun technique. Like I said, it's been a few years since I've done this one. And the note cards and envelopes they're thicker cardstock base. And that was another reason why I chose this one. You just want to make sure you burnish that real good. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start with the light colors. This one is Fresh Freesia. And then, I don't think this is available. I didn't see it online earlier, but it's like this. This is the core colors. This is just the bright colors I wanted to use just for this project. You can use any of your Stampin' Right markers. They come in sets of 10 for each color group. And when you sign up, you have that option 1, and you can get 2 different color groups. Now the brush or painting side, as I'm calling it, I'm just giving it some color. And of course it's so light you can't really see it, but that's okay. And then I'm going to put the lid on that, and I'm getting Berry Burst marker. And it's going to be the, like I'm calling it the paintbrush side, right? And just kind of put some color there in the middle of the block. And then this one is lemon lime twist. So it's like it's kind of got hints of yellow, but it's tinted green, right? So lemon lime twist, and I'm gonna put that one on the bottom. And then you're gonna get your Stampin' Spritzer, or if you have a water bottle. I'm just going to spritz it, aim for the middle, just spritz it once, okay? Just like that. That's how easy this is. And then I'm going to bring my paper in on top of the Stampin' mat. And then I'm just going to bring the block to the paper, press down nice and firm, and I'm going to give it a couple of seconds here. Let that ink soak in. And again, it's going to be wet, so you definitely want to wait for this to dry before you finish stamping. Hey, Barbara, I'm so glad you got to join us tonight. Thank you all for joining, whether it's the live or the replay. I love this technique. Like I mentioned earlier, I sort of forgot about this technique. You're just adding a little watercolor. It's like a fall watercolor technique. And then, because I had this sitting off to the side already done earlier and it's dry, we're going to go ahead and bring in our stamps, and we're going to stamp right on top. This one's Let Your Faith Be Bigger Than Your Fears, and then the 2. And this is all, again, all from the Faith Collection, my favorite bundle. The online exclusives are great because usually they are around for a while, or at least that has been the trend. I'm hoping that continues. And I'm just going to stamp that kind of in the middle. No right or wrong, just estimate it. Oh, that's really nice. And then I'm going to use the 2 flower. And I'm going to stamp that corner. Then I'm going to turn the block and stamp on this corner. See how easy this was to make this card, this note card? And it's a fun technique. Doesn't that look marvelous? I love it. It's like a water wash. I love it. Absolutely love it. So now we're going to move on to some more cards. This one is kind of inspired from last week. I sort of had the idea, I just hadn't finished it, but now I finished it to share with you tonight. And it's this one cross with a fun fold. And of course on the inside, He is risen. Absolutely love this one. Now last week I shared the card where it was this direction and there were 3 crosses. This week it's just going to be the 1. And again, it's a beautiful, easy, fun fold. And I did some stamping ahead of time because the next 2 cards are going to be a little more involved, which is a fun thing because it's something new. Good thing I'm going to cover that up. Got some color, I guess, on my board here. Let me just smooth this. There we go. And then this one basically folds back onto itself. For our Z fold or our W fold, V fold, whatever it is you want to call it. And then of course we're using the Everyday Skies, another online exclusive designer paper. And we're going to actually go ahead and do some stamping first. And again, I'm going to use the stamp from Grassy Grove that we used last week. I just love that look. And since there's going to be a little overlap, this was the piece that was trimmed off from the 6x6, or maybe it was this side. Anyway, I'm going to do just like that because I definitely want to make sure that I don't stamp on my glass. I didn't get my cleaner out, so and then of course whenever I have a big block, a big stamp, I'll bring my ink pad to my stamp, and this is Garden Green. Just give it some nice ink coverage there, and then I am ready to stamp it. Just like that. Now this one I used a little bit more of the stamp on there, but this one I just used a little bit. They both look fabulous. Still have some ink, so just be careful when you set that aside. And I'm bringing in a free stamp set from the celebration called Friendly Seagulls. It's got these nice birds here. Last week we used the stamp set beside me, which has birds in it. Probably any birds very similar to this in your stash or your collection would work, but I'm using the Friendly Seagulls. This is a really cute stamp set. So this one and the paper we're going to use in a minute, you can earn for free when you have an order of $60 or more. I'll just flip through real quickly. There's so much here. So many fun things in this catalog. Friendly Seagulls, free with a $60 purchase. And although I don't have all of the different free stuff, I do have this paper that we're going to use on the next card. And last week we used the heart-shaped bundle. This stamp and that bundle, if you have 120 or more, then you can earn those for free. And this was the water block coloring technique we just did. Lots of great new things in the catalog. All right, let me just take a look, make sure I've got my, got my birds facing the correct direction. Tap, 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 and then bring it down just a little bit. Tap, tap, tap. And then bring that one down, just like that. I have a lot of ideas for this stamp set, stamp bundle. And then this one is the designer paper that we're just going to find that sweet spot where it's kind of centered. And I'm going to lift up, hold down one side and lift up this part here so I can apply my adhesive just to the side there. And it shows off, this card technique, Fun Fold, shows off both sides of this paper. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm almost out of adhesive. That's okay. I will change that with y'all tonight. Now I went ahead and stamped ahead of time and die cut out the cross. And we're using this beautiful ribbon again this week. I thought I had that. Oh, here it is. It is the Cherry Cobbler. I believe it's still available online, and it may be one of those last chance items, possibly. All right, so again, with this one, I'm going to bring in what I'm calling the flat adhesive dots. Because these are great for little projects like this. I'm going to start with the back. And then it's going to come around the front. And on the front, I'm going to put a glue dot. Right in the middle. And then it's going to go right on top of it just like that, and come down this direction. So now I'm going to take that little piece off right there. And now I just trim it up. I apologize if for some reason it's getting to be blurry. I'm just now looking at my computer to the left of my desk here, and I saw it kind of blur a little bit. Not sure why that's doing that. Then I'm just going to trim it up. Just like that. And this looks really nice right there. Now I'm going to put that adhesive on there. And there is the first part of the card. And now I'm going to bring back in our garden green. And one of my favorite stamps out of the Faith Collection. It's the cross with this greenery. And I'm going to stamp garden green. Oops, I'm getting it all on my fingers. When you're working with white like this, you gotta be real careful. Just apply nice even pressure right like that. Ooh, that's pretty. Alrighty. And then the words, "He is risen," I'm going to stamp right in the center. I love that this is photopolymer. There is a technique too that I'm going to share with you in just a second here after this one. He is risen. I can see exactly where I am stamping. Beautiful. Now, of course, it's got die cuts, so if for some reason you messed up or you didn't like how it looked, or, I mean, I think it looks fine, but you can always die cut out another one and place over it if you messed up. So there's always like a little fix, but I think that looks terrific. He is risen. This stamp bundle is great not only for Easter, but this could be a thinking of you. It could be a sympathy. Unfortunately, as we get older, we tend to have to do more sympathy cards. That's just kind of one of the things that happens with life, unfortunately. Now, I do want to share with you a technique that I was kind of looking at the Stampin' Up! Website, trying to find what that was called that I shared at the beginning. And it's called a kissing technique. And I thought, okay, how do I do that? And I looked at the stamp set and realized I can do the kissing technique with this stamp set. I really can. It works better, of course, with red rubber, but you can still do that with the photopolymer. So I'm going to use pecan pie. And then you have your solid piece. This is what I would call a solid piece. And you would stamp it. And then you take one stamp, and without inking it, you just touch or kiss it, just like that. And then you stamp. And when you stamp, it gives it a little different look or texture. So we do have the wood grain one, but this is the kissing technique. I kind of forgot about that. And it's different, right? One stamp to the other. So just a little something I wanted to share with y'all. It's kind of fun. I kind of forgot about it, actually. And then as I was cleaning, trying to go back and get ideas for my Faith Collection, because I knew I wanted to do some amazing things do some repeats, but use current colors and different things. And this is one that I made a few years ago, probably 5 years ago, something like that. It's been a while. And I'm pretty sure I still have this stamp set. So this is using that gold. I believe this is that raspberry that's retired color, but it's also a fun fold. Using our sponge daubers, right? And an embossing folder. So that's the original inspiration. And I actually have 2 cards for you tonight based on that inspiration. And here is the first one. God is Love. Using cherry cobbler cardstock. And that's the ribbon that I used, and the cherry cobbler cardstock piece. That's the raspberry. And the next card is the same fun fold, but using Blackberry Bliss. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, and I changed it up a tiny bit, and I'll show you why. So let's go ahead and make this card. Lots of fun. This whole bundle is my favorite. Absolutely love it. So for this one, we're going to do our sponge daubers first. And then once we've done that, then we will start putting the card together. And this one, I'm going to change it up a tiny bit just to see how different it could look with a white piece underneath the cross. Just kind of an idea I had after I made that card. I'm always changing things because I'm always trying to be creative. And this bundle is definitely one that you can be very creative with. So I'm going to use some garden green. And we're going to use some cherry cobbler. And we're going to use some Daffodil Delight for our ink pads. Okay. Now these, I'll use the back just to show you. Oh, I guess that one's, You know, once you've used them, even though it's got an old, expired, or retired color, you can see that it doesn't retain the ink, right? So you can use these and interchange them until, of course, the sponge dauber wears out, which it will eventually. Pretty sure that's the green. Yep. Okay. All right. So we're going to flip this over, and it looks like the little flowers I'm going to do with the Daffodil Delight, and then the little leaves will be the garden green, and then the flower part will be the cherry cobbler. So I think what I want to do is the little Daffodil Delight first. Start out with the lighter color first, and then we'll do the greenery, and then we'll do the pretty cherry cobbler. And then the sponge daubers, they fit on your fingers. They're awesome. Really easy. Come 5 to a pack. Let's see. We just want to give it a little dab of color. Hence, sponge daubers, dab it. And that's like the little daisy color. And I probably should tell you what stamp set this is coming from. Let's see, did I get them all on there? Yep, I think that's it. Oh, there's a little bit right there. Let me show you. It's the Layered Florals 3D embossing folder. That's what I use because I kind of wanted to, you know, imitate a little bit this one here. And the next one, I'm using free paper, the next card with this one. So we're done with that one, Daffodil Delight. Okay, and we're going to do our garden green. Oh, Beverly, oh, I understand. The weather's kind of crazy. Be safe. We'll have it on replay later, of course. All right, so we've got our little green for the leaves. Just like that. There's only a couple of leaves on here. Just a little bit of green. Don't need a whole lot. Then now we're going to bring in the cherry cobblers. So pretty. And then you just want to rub it in, kind of, you can dab it, you can rub it in. Just like that. I think last week we used, oh, I know what I did there. I need to do that daffodil in the middle. Last week we used the blending brush. And I think we're going to do that on the next card. Actually, now that I think about it. Oh, I forgot one there. That usually happens when you get going here and you realize, oh, I forgot one. All right, so we're going to do the Daffodil Delight. There we go. Because we've got this big flower right there that's got that middle piece right there. And then our daffodil for this little, like, sunflower. Really nice light colors, isn't it? It's really pretty. Really like this one a lot. It's super cute. Now, let's bring in the other card components here. This is the die cut that was used. And I also used gold, and I went ahead and die cut this one out. On the next card, we'll die cut it together, and I'll show you how to do it, how to put it together, but this is going to save just a little bit of time. Now this one, I didn't have white behind the cross, and I want to try it with this card. I just think it's going to bring out the color, make it pop a little bit. So this cardstock piece, I have little cheat notes over here. This is 3.5 by 2 1/4. And this piece right here, the white, it's not an exact white, but it is 1 3/4 by 3 1/4, or 3 1/4. And then this is your regular 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. And then the cardstock piece right here, here's my actual cheat note. If you want to do a screenshot, hopefully it's not blurry. So this piece of cardstock is 7 by 5 1/2, and it's scored on each end at 1 3/8. The 2 strips that I put through the die cut machine and embossed, those 2 strips of white are 5 1/2 by 1 3/8. And you'll remember that when you look on your, when you measure to cut it, 1 3/8 is basically the same as 1 1/4 plus 2. I'm a little challenged when it comes to those numbers, so I like to share that every chance I get. Okay. Now, normally I would say stamp first, but we want to find the sweet spot here. Hold down one side, lift it up. There is a fix if we do mess up, but with photopolymer, it's kind of hard to mess things up. Now I have a little extra right there. Just pinch off that extra adhesive that was there. And then the next, we're going to adhere these little side panels. Again, hold down one side as I apply the adhesive. Same for the other panel. Either side is fine. Hold down one side, lift the flap up to apply that adhesive. Kind of helps to keep it straight. Getting really low there. I'm probably gonna have to change it here before I finish this card out. And then go ahead and, since this piece I colored in is nice, I want this to show, so I'm gonna use this as the left side of the card. Another reason not to stamp first, when I technically would told you not to do that. Then you're gonna find the sweet spot here. Then just hold this down and then apply that adhesive right there. All right. Now for this one, oh yeah, we've got our ribbon. Did it fall? It disappeared on me. It was just here. Well, we'll just grab the ribbon, because I don't know what I did with it just now. How funny. Okay. And so what we're going to want to do is, I was trying to think how I did this earlier. And I'm going to use a block to help hold this card down so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so it's going to go like this. Over, excuse me. It's going to go over it. And then like that. And then down. So what I'm going to do, I was quiet for a minute there because I had to think, what did I do when I put this together earlier? I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to find this spot here. There we go. Because that's adhesive sheets. Because when you have a really fine die cut like this, you definitely want your adhesive sheets to use. Makes it easier. All right. Let me just do a little trim right there. And we're going to use a glue dot for the back of this one. Just like that. And then we're going to put a glue dot underneath both sides, just like that. That's how we're going to put this cross together. Because it's going to come down right next to it. Hopefully that makes sense. And same thing right on the side. just like that. Now, so what do you think? Does the white paper really kind of bring out the cross better? I think they both look great, but I think that adding some of the white kind of offsets the color and really brings it out. And next, we're going to stamp God is Love. Or you can do He is Risen. I think I'm going to do He is Risen for this one. Here I go, changing it my original. All right. If this were not photopolymer, I maybe would not have stamped after I assembled. God is Love, He is Risen. So again, this one is based off of the original that I had created a few years back. This is using Cherry Cobbler. And then our last card is using this same fold, but using some designer paper that is free with a $60 or more purchase. And that card is this one right here. God is Love, using Blackberry Bliss. Same fold. And this is that gorgeous paper in the Celebration catalog. On page 11, you can see all those beautiful colors. Azure Afternoon, Daffodil Delight, Melon Mambo, Peach Pie, Petunia Pop, and Shy Shamrock. Gorgeous Bloom Impressions. Love the samples in the catalog. And this is a great example of when you cut your designer paper down and you've got little strips of paper left. This is a great idea on how to use it. I might have to do that next week. That's really cool. So let's put this one together, our last card for tonight. Really easy to do. All right. And this one, I'm going to bring in the little machine, the little mini machine, because I want to show you some tips and tricks on how to get this finite die cut and how I did all of that. So here's the piece of gold, and for the cross, I've made a note from last week. For the cross, you just need a piece of cardstock. This is gold, 2 by 2.5. And then what I did was I got our, I guess they still have the word Sizzix on them. This might be an older one, but the adhesive sheets, I don't think the new ones have it, but I try to use what I have in stock. I cut that down as well. And then I have a pair of scissors that are devoted just for sticky projects like this one, so that I can trim it if I need to, if there's extra. The same dimensions and everything as the last card. And you could technically use this one as the sky. So this is a very versatile piece of paper. Isn't that beautiful? Now I have to say, something I noticed too when I was playing around, I'm looking for that stamp set, what I do with it. Oh, here we go. So another thing that I noticed was the flower in the heart-shaped looks like it would coordinate very well with this paper. And now this heart-shaped bundle is a celebration. For 120 or more, you can get this bundle for free. So if you're like me, your wish list is quite long, and it doesn't take too much for that to go up to 120. Again, let's go ahead and assemble the base. And it's 1 3/8 on both sides. And I love this paper. It's just beautiful. Blackberry Bliss, it's one of my favorites. I don't think when I was doing the score lines, it didn't seem like I did it very, just lightly, I think is what I did. Okay. So again, I'm going to go ahead and just find the middle. Hold down one side. I'm going to lift up the flap. There we go. So I'll find the sweet spot there. And then I'm going to add my little strips of 5.5 by 1 3/8 to each side. And then with the Stampin' Seal, I do that swipe towards me, and it keeps it on the roller. I used to have a difficult time with that. And about a month or so ago, maybe 2 months now, I was playing around with it one day and realized, oh, that's the secret. All right. This is such gorgeous paper. I'll probably have to order some more of it. It's gorgeous. Okay. Same thing. We're going to go ahead and, yep, that looks good. Trying to find that sweet spot there. I'm just going to add my adhesive right there. That piece there. And next, while we're waiting, we're going to hold that down. I'm going to bring in the little mini cut and emboss machine, and I'm going to show you the trick to die cutting this one out. And something else, another trick, I always store my emboss machines, the little one, the mini, and the big one, with the plates in the middle. So it somewhat keeps it flat. They do bow after, you know, much use, and that's normal. Try to make sure it's all in the screen here for you. And then basically, the sticky side is on the bottom, and then that's the part that's going to die cut. I'm going to lay it right on top. And then I've got my base plate 1, plate 2, my paper, my die cut, and plate number 2 right on top. And then I'm going to feed it through. Now the trick to this one, it's tight, and that's the way it's supposed to be. That's 1. I'm going to go back through again. That's 2. I'm going to go back again. That's 3. I'm going to go back again. That's 4. Back again. That's 5. Back again. Number 6. And the reason I'm doing that several times, and it'll start to stick, and that's fine, is so that not only because it'll help it come out easier, and you can actually use that. We're going to use that in a minute. It's just an idea that I had, and I just totally forgot, but I want to share that with you. And so now this should come out easier. If not, we'll redo this again. Let's go ahead and roll this back for storage. It just seems to last a little bit longer when I do that. And I use this little box and my take your pick tool to get all the pieces out. This is a fine die cut piece, so this takes a minute. And I honestly don't know of a better way other than the adhesive sheets. If it weren't for those, I don't know that I would be using this die that much. because, you know, those pieces are just finite. All right, there we go. So now we just got a couple of pieces here. But yeah, going through the die cut machine, like go once, twice, just do it 5, 6, 7 times. And then those pieces should pop right out. It's gorgeous. Okay. Nice. Okay. All right, so next, before we undo that and just refer back to the original here. Now, I knew I wanted to do Blackberry Bliss last week, and it's a little bit bigger than the cross, and so I played around with it and decided, let's just go ahead and make the fold on here. So I'm kind of guesstimating where it's going to be, where it's going to fold. So it's going to go just like that. You're just going to guesstimate it at this point. Okay. And again, I'm going to use a glue dot, because that's going to be right there in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to get another glue dot ready, because it's going to come down on the paper like that. Get another glue dot. I try to make things as easy as possible. And for me, this was the easiest way to make this nice little ribbon fold down like that. And it helps to have a glue dot. All right. So now I'm just going to give it a little trim. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I think this is on sale or was on the last chance list. I believe it's still available. Apologies if it's not, but absolutely gorgeous. You could actually use your blends. I believe we have Blackberry Bliss in the blends. Yep. And you could color a beautiful white ribbon if we are out of that one. And again, I'm going to find that best place to get that adhesive off. There we go. All right. Then I'm just going to work this in, if you will. And then I'm going to come back through, just kind of apply some pressure. Let that sticky sit in there, and then we're going to trim the ribbon. You can kind of see it behind the cross, and it looks really, really pretty. Just want to shorten it up a little bit. So pretty, absolutely gorgeous. Now, we're going to add this right on the top. And just kind of apply that pressure until that sticky's all nice and on there, gorgeous. All right. There we go. And then we're going to stamp God is love. Or let's just do God is risen. here I am changing it up again. You could, you know, sympathy. You could use get well, thinking of you. You could totally make this blank and use it as needed. But I really like how that just kind of sets off the color there. So pretty. Okay. So let me show you real quickly with a spare sheet of paper what I'm going to use this for, because I think that's really neat and it's an opportunity to share. Okay. So pretend this is where I'm going to use the cross. This is a great idea. Just find where, kind of where you want it. And I think I want to do, yep, let me make sure I've got all that off, all the colors I've used. This is the back side of the paper. That's the easy way to clean it off. Let's just go down here and use this one. Okay. All right. Pecan pie. In crafting, you use everything, right? This is going to be a nice cross. Ooh, look how dark it was. Very nice. And just keep on brushing it on there. Very therapeutic. You can have it as dark or as light as you would like. And you could continue to die cut out. It's a nice shape that you can actually fussy cut out. So even your little scrap pieces can be used for stuff. Let's do a heart on the very corner. I said heart, I meant let's do the cross on the corner. And I'll show you why. Just keep adding that color in there. Now you can trim it and you've got a nice little cross. Now if we did a lighter color, like say crumb cake, which is a really lighter color, then it's lighter than the pecan, then you can bring in a greeting like he is risen right on top of it, which is what I think I did with this one that I was playing around with. So like I said, I've got tons of ideas because this set is so versatile. But you can always use all the bits and pieces here. So cute. So we used the friendly seagulls tonight. We used some of the free paper. God is love. He is risen. And again, God is love. He is risen. Using embossing and then sponge daubers. And we used the birds from the friendly seagulls. He is risen. Another fun fold. And our technique card. So out of all 4 cards, which one was your favorite tonight? This was a lot of fun. And again, I probably have several more cards. I'm probably going to bring in some Valentine's hearts and this one for next week. Because like I said, I still have some more ideas. This is such a versatile bundle. It's one that you can use for a lot of different reasons, not just for faith and not just for Easter. You can use it for sympathy. You can use it for thinking of you. lots of possibilities and lots of techniques and great things. Again, Stampin' Up! Has inspired me yet again for some different techniques that I had forgotten about that they shared with us. Why you want to join with option 1, because you can get this block watercoloring technique and use it by picking out 2 color families. And each color family in the markers are $35 a piece, plus that stamp set. That's a $91 value. So if you're not already working with a demonstrator and you want to join my team, I would love to have you. We have a great time. Our next workshop, the first workshop for January of 2025, is next Saturday, the 18th. So hopefully you can join us if you're local. Reach out if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Hope you enjoyed the presentation and demonstration. Happy stamping!